author, and that is her back here. Hi, Mom. So after she speaks, please support her, sell her, buy her out. It's an amazing journal. So without further ado, Evie King. Give her a round of applause, guys.
Wow. I just want to give another round of applause. Can you guys hear me? Can we give another round of applause for Tatiana? Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for your vulnerability, for your authenticity. Thank you, Davida, for thinking of this event and for bringing all of these people together. Thank you for everyone who's here today, for everyone who took time out of their busy schedule on this rainy Saturday, right? Most of you are probably mothers. You could be home, chilling, relaxing with your family, with your kids, but you chose to be here. And I think we all have a reason for being here. But Tatiana, thank you so much again for setting the tone, for setting the stage, and for your willingness to share your story. How many of you know it's so much power in sharing our stories, right? And I think, at least for me, when it comes to sharing stories, it's difficult because I'm like, well, I've been living this and I've been walking this, so it's just like, it don't feel as significant to me until I start talking to somebody, and they're like, oh my gosh, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think that was that big of a deal, right? But I'm reminded, right, and I'm learning the importance of being willing to share our stories, right? Because when we share our stories, it could be connected to somebody else overcoming, right? So if you are spiritual, if you're Christian, you might be familiar with the scripture that we do overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony, right? So when we share our stories, we are helping someone else and we're also helping ourselves. So that was just a really quick tidbit. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Edie King. As Ty said, I am an author, I'm a therapist, I'm a professor, I can talk about the professional stuff all day long, but all in all, I'm just a child of God, right? I'm a daughter, I'm a partner, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm an aunt to Lord knows what, 15 kids? I don't know how many nieces and nephews I have. I'm a godmother to 6. But more than anything, I'm a fellow journeyer on this thing called life, right? Trying to figure things out, trying to learn, trying to grow, trying to become the best version of myself, right? So Todd talked a lot about the 5 Ys, right? Or the 5 Ws, right? So that's who I am. Born and raised not too far from here, right in Southwest Philadelphia. So one of 8 children, so I'm number 6 to 8, right in the middle somewhere. So growing up for me, for a really long time, I was the youngest, and then something happened, Mom, I don't know what happened, but then I became the oldest, right, after 10 years, and it put me in a lot of really unique positions in my life, right? So like I said, for a really long time, I was the baby. I got everything that I wanted. I was spoiled. My siblings, they over-engulfed me. So I'm like, oh, I'm the princess. I'm the queen of the world, right? Having all these beliefs about myself. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I gotta be somebody's big sister. I gotta be somebody's surrogate mother, all these different things. So much of my life and who I am was shaped by my family. And I think a lot of us can say that for ourselves, right? We're shaped by the people that raise us, the people who are around us, those influences that we have. So just coming into those spaces and coming into those roles, and as you become an adult, it's just like, wait, well, who am I, right? Being able to define who you are and understand more about who you are as you continue to learn and grow. So hopefully, as you all are here, you'll be able to, hopefully, some of the vendors or some of what's being said here or some of your conversations, that this event at this time gives you another opportunity to think more about who you are and what that means to your impact within this world. We're all here for an empowerment brunch, right? So I'm big on words, so it's like empowerment, what does that even mean, right? Like did y'all come for raise your hand if you came for the food. You might come for the food. Raise your hand if you came for the vendors because you saw, oh, my girlfriend is going to be there. She's going to be selling her stuff. Let me go support her. Raise your hand if you just saw somebody on the flyer that you recognized and you wanted to support. Maybe. Or just raise your hand if this was just Mother's Day weekend and you just wanted to get out and, oh, let me go ahead. It looks like something fun to do, right? Right. Well, whatever your reason, we're all here. So when Davida asked me to do this, I'm just like, all right, girl, what you want me talking about? Okay. Well, I'm good at this, I'm good at that, but being able to put it all together, sometimes it can be difficult because most of my work is just one-on-one. It's talking directly to my clients, or more so listening to my clients. some of my work has been like group therapy, so I can get in front of my clients and, run a group and talk about all those different things. And I've had a lot of different experiences, both academic and personal and professional and all these different things. So where I believe I am now in my journey is just learning to integrate all those things, learning to integrate, take pieces from here, take pieces from here, and bring it together so that it can be more authentic, so it can be a more accurate perception and picture of who I am today, right? So when I thought about, empowerment, I'm like, well, what do you want me to say to these people? How am I supposed to empower them? I'm like, well, how about we just start with what is empowerment, right? So I took some time, not much time, but just looking it up, right? So how many, we say all these words, we throw these things around, empowerment and uplift and, overcoming, all those different things. So I was just like, well, let's look at what empowerment means. So empowerment is the authority or power given to someone to do something. It's the process of becoming stronger and more confident, especially in controlling one's life and claiming one's rights. And it was that last part that really stood out to me, that power to, reclaim your life, to reclaim your story. So, a few minutes ago I talked about the importance of sharing your story. And I think a lot of times as we go through life, we are inundated with a lot of beliefs and perspectives about who we are or who we should be. And sometimes we never get an opportunity to think about, well, who do I want to be? Or who am I really? Or how did I become these different things, right? So when I think about empowerment, I think about the importance or the power of reclaiming or rewriting your own narrative, right? And events like these, raise your hand if you've ever been to an empowerment event or a networking event, or maybe this is your first one, but if you've been to a few of them before, raise your hand. Or maybe you invested in a course or a master class or something like that, something to improve yourself, right? So a lot of times we have all this motivation to let me step out. All right, I'm gonna go to this event, I'm gonna subscribe to this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. We do all these different things, right? We acquire these different things. Maybe we go get the degree, maybe we go get that certification. Maybe we do something believing that it's going to help us, feel more or feel better about ourselves or feel more clear about our identity. And in some cases, it's effective, right? It's just like, all right, cool, I got this title now, I'm a little something, something. Oh, I got this, all right, now I'm working with something, right? So we start to feel better because we've added this thing to our resume or to our repertoire, right? And maybe for some people, and I'll speak for myself because I don't know y'all, I don't know myself, so I can only talk from my experience, right? So what happens for me anyway is that sometimes I'll get the thing, I'll get the title or the label or the business, right? Or the whatever, right? You fill in the blank. I get that, and I'm moving, I'm working, I'm doing a little bit of stuff over here, and I just start to feel like overwhelmed and defeated, and then I'm comparing myself, and then I'm feeling all this shame because I'm like, oh wait, like who I think I am, right? It's either like I vacillate, I swing between like, oh, I'm doing something to like, oh wait, who do I think I am? Like what do I really have to add? What do I really have to offer, right? Swinging between those two spaces. So it's always interesting to me thinking about like, how do I go from this space where I'm feeling on top, where I'm feeling capable, where I'm feeling confident, back to this other space? And that's really what I wanted to focus on for my talk, right? It's just like, what gets in the way, right? The things, those blocks, those roadblocks, or those rocks even that get in the way of us being able to not only be empowered, but to remain empowered, right? So whether it's trauma, whether it's things from your past, whether it's things that you don't always feel as proud of, whether it's mistakes that you've made, whether it's your mental health issues, family issues, dysfunction. We want to get the babies. I don't know if that has alcohol in it. Okay. We want to get the babies. We don't need any babies under the influence at this event, right? So, as I was saying, we start working towards empowerment and we acquire these different things and we get to these new levels, but then we often find ourselves feeling overwhelmed and depleted and uncertain and insecure and just like, all right, you know what, I don't even want to do this no more. Oh, such and such, everybody doing this. I don't want to start no company. I don't want to start no brand. I don't want, man, everybody get in there. Well, she wrote a book already, so, and I was going to write it on the same topic, so I ain't even going to do nothing like that now. Or, dang, she got a clothing line too. Or, all these different things start to come up, right? You know, we start comparing ourselves. We start feeling like, well, maybe I don't have, maybe what I have to say or what I have to offer isn't as valuable, right? So being able to understand the things that get in the way, right? Being able to figure out like, all right, well, what's this pattern? Every now and then I will acquire something and then I start making some steps and then I plateau. Or maybe, you know, I just give it up altogether. So being able to look within, being able to understand what those things look like, understand what those things are for yourself. So this process might look different for a number of people, right? But for some, it might be, you know, soul searching or however, whatever that might look like for you. So whether that's looking at your past, maybe seeing a therapist, maybe doing some journaling, maybe, you know, reading different types of content to help you to look at yourself from different perspectives, right? Another aspect of that might be you talking to the people within your life, the people who raised you, the people who contributed to your outlook on life and your upbringing. And one of the final steps or another step is really being able to challenge those belief systems, being able to understand what they are, understand how it's been either helping you or how it's been hindering you, you know. So one example of a negative belief that I often have is that either, like I said, sometimes I'll vacillate between like, what do I have to offer, and like, I'm doing something special, right? But another belief within that is, why me? You know, why do I have to be the one to do this, right? Like I said, I got 7 siblings. Why me, the 6th one? Why did I have to be the one to be a first generation, you know, college student, a first generation, you know, graduate level student and business owner and do all these different things? Because it's lonely. It's hard, right? Nobody paved the way, right? Nobody showed me these steps. The people in my life may have taken me as far as they were able to take me, right? And thank God for that. I'm grateful for all those different things. But sometimes when we get to a place where the people in our lives haven't gotten to, we're standing there like, all right, well, am I really supposed to be here? Like, I'm out here. You know, like, am I really supposed to be where I am? There's no examples. There's no one else who's able to show me or tell me or even affirm me. And maybe they can affirm me. Maybe they can, you know, clap, right? Or support or do all those different things. But do they know what it means or what it looks like to really stand in my shoes? And you all, right? So I'm speaking for all of us, right? Because I don't know what it's like to stand in your shoes or your shoes or your shoes, but you do. And I would imagine that some days it gets really lonely. I would imagine that in your journey, whether you are a business owner or whether you are, you know, whether you are a full-time employee or a parent or a spouse, whatever it is, right? Because we all struggle and we all have these things that get in the way of us feeling like, well, how do I still manage and how do I still survive if no one else has been here to show me or to support me and pave this way for me, right? How many of you can agree with that, of not sometimes just being in the space where you just don't know? Right? So being able to, one, understand you ain't the only one. You know, sometimes we're like, oh, I thought it was just me. Girl, you struggling too, yes, right? And sometimes I think, especially in our society and in today's culture with, you know, social media and things, and social media can be really helpful for a lot of things, but it can also create this really, really vicious pattern of, you know, self-defeat and comparison and insecurity, because it's just like, dang, I'm scrolling. Dang, I ain't doing that. Oh, she did that a little bit better than me, right? So it creates this narrative of, I'm not good enough, I'm not doing enough, I need to be doing more. Why I started that business, but it didn't take off, right? But meanwhile, we have that narrative going on, but we're forgetting to actually nurture ourselves. So I'm really big on making sure that we're practicing self-compassion, right? Because the reality is that I didn't have a guide, I didn't have a roadmap, I didn't have a path, or someone who took me by the hand and showed me these things. So I'm figuring this out as I go along. So while I'm doing that, I'm learning to give myself permission to make mistakes. I'm learning to give myself permission to not get it right the first time. I'm learning to realize that I don't always have to be perfect, right? Because sometimes we get into these roles where it's just like, well, if I don't do it, who gonna do it? And I think that's the Black woman's motto, right? Raise your hand if you ever thought that. If I don't do it, ain't nobody else gonna do it, so I gotta do it, right? So we take on all of this stuff from the people around us, right? And a lot of times because they need it, right? And because we love them, and whatever other stuff that we tell ourselves, and it can be really noble, and it can be very admirable, and then we end up feeling depleted and burnt out. So it's just like, all right, I done overextended myself in every single space, and once again, who's here for me, right? Who's here for me? Raise your hand if you have at least 3 go-to people. If you have 3 go-to people, you are very blessed. Very blessed, right? Because some of us don't even have one, right? I'm blessed. I do have, in this season of my life, I have 3 go-to people. When I'm struggling, when I'm going through, the people who I can be fully vulnerable with, the people I can be authentic with, right? The people who I don't have to make it up and dress it up and say, oh girl, yeah, I'm good. Oh yeah, girl, I just started. Those people, right? I have actually maybe even more than 3, but there have been times when I didn't, right? And I thought, well, I ain't gonna burden this person. They got their own stuff going on. You know, she don't really know how I handle that person, so I ain't gonna say nothing, right? How many of us can relate to that? Because you think your problems aren't important. You think that it's more going on in the world, right? And yes, it is. And your problems matter too. And your needs are important as well, right? So like I said, when I was preparing, when I was doing this, I'm just like, God, what you want me to say, right? If anything, I just want you all to know that your needs matter. I think a lot of times as women, especially women of color, we don't always know that our needs matter, because from the time that we're born, we are constantly giving to everyone else, right? Giving and doing and being, and giving and doing and being, all the things for everyone. Right. And every now and then somebody might ask us like, hey girl, how you doing? And what we say, oh girl, I'm fine. I'm blessed and highly favored, you know, I'm good. Ain't nothing wrong. You know, we dress it up. And I don't want to say that we lie, because I don't think that it's a lie, because I believe in nuance, right? Because it's just like yes and. Like, yo, yeah, I'm struggling, but you know what? I'm okay, right? And I'm going to be okay, right? So many of us, we will do that, right? So as I was saying, if anything, if you take anything from what I'm saying, is give yourself permission to feel, give yourself permission to be seen, right? Give yourself permission to have compassion for yourself, right? Because we can talk about the empowerment, we can talk about the motivation, we can talk about, all right, do this, do that, but what about when we just want to sit and be? Right? Why I always gotta do something? Why I always gotta be something? Why can't I just sit and be, you know? We don't get those opportunities, right? Thank you, right? We don't give ourselves that permission, we don't give ourselves that opportunity. And we can point to a lot of different things that contributes to that: society, right? White supremacy, racism, all these different things that creates this struggle for us, right? So it makes it a lot harder to cultivate a life where wellness is prioritized, where self-care is prioritized, where, focusing on yourself, and self-care isn't selfish, right? Where we're prioritizing ourselves and being concerned about, well, I am feeling kind of down today, so I don't think I really want to go to that event. You know what? I don't really think I feel like getting up and cooking that food. I don't really feel like going over to my mom's house and doing this and driving this person here and picking. I don't want to. Or maybe, actually, I did have an issue with what you said to me the other day, and I would prefer if, we talk about it in different, giving ourselves permission to be where we are, say what we need to say. So in my closing, like I said, I just want to encourage all of you, even if you are doing the work, and I think there are a number of amazing women, especially these business owners, the courage that it takes to step out on faith, the courage that it takes to position yourself as an owner or as a brand or to sell a product that you believe in. I think that takes courage, right? Because a lot of us won't do it, right? So I wanna commend you all, for those of you made a conscious decision to step out today and do that. But I do really want to encourage you that while you are doing all of the physical work, while you're dressing up the outside, while you're acquiring the degrees and the business licenses and all these different things, that you give yourself permission to feel, that you give yourself permission to be present, that you give yourself permission to not fulfill the needs of every single thing and every single person around you, because you're worthy and because you matter. Thank you for letting me share. And while I'm up here, thank you so much again. While I'm up here, I know a few of you participated in the raffle for my book, so I will share a little bit about it. My booth is right back there. My mom is working my table. So in 2020, I wrote a book called My Peace is Most Important. This is a 31-day devotional, so if you know anything about devotionals, it's a book that you read every day. It might have a particular topic, and with this devotional in particular, you can journal about it you can reflect on what the topic was. A lot of the topics, it focuses on mental wellness. It focuses on what it means to prioritize your peace. It focuses on struggling through the dysfunction of life and family and relationships and all those different things, right? And I'm only 31, right? So this didn't even start when I first started writing this. This wasn't a book. It was just like me journaling, like literally going through, like, yo, God, what is going on? You know, so like sharing my pain, writing through whatever it is that was going on for me. And after a while, I'm just like, oh, this I got something here. I might be able to encourage somebody with this, right? So if you are interested in having my book, you can purchase it right in the back. Books are $20, but for those of you who participated in the raffle, you will be receiving in your bundle. I'm going to do two different drawings. So the one drawing is going to be for the bundle. So it's the book. It's a physical, just like regular line journal, and a mug that says My Peace is Most Important, right? And one of the biggest things that I want to say is that when I got this concept and when I got this idea, I'm like, well, this isn't just a title. It's not just a saying. This is a lifestyle, right? So I hope that I can encourage you all to prioritize your peace, to understand that your peace is important. And this can look different for anyone, right? So for some people, it might look like putting your phone on Do Not Disturb. For some people, it might look like, like turning your emails off, right? Or it might look like not going to a place or not being around certain people or keeping your mouth shut under certain circumstances because you know it might create a bigger situation, right? Whatever it is, understanding what peace means and what it looks like for you and making those conscious decisions to just start to implement it in your life little by little, right? And I'm really, like I said, I'm big on baby steps because Rome wasn't built in a day, right? Many of us, we've been living our entire lives one particular way. So it's not realistic for you to think like, oh, I went to this event, I got this message, I'm gonna change right away. That's not how it works, right? So giving yourself permission to be patient with yourself and go through that process, right? So like I said, if you would like to buy the book, it is available in the back. So one raffle is going to be the bundle. The other raffle is just going to be an individual book. So I am going to draw those ticket numbers now. I know there's a few different raffles going on. So these tickets are the red and white ones. So if you participated in my raffle, you might want to pull your ticket out now. And I'm going to read off the numbers. All right. The numbers are 758 118. Woo! Yes! Can you tell me your name? What's your name? Ashley. Ashley received the full bundle with the book, the journal, and the mug, so I'll bring it over to you right afterwards. Congratulations, Ashley. All right. And this next draw is going to be for an individual book. I know Ashley bought a lot of tickets, so Ashley, you win this one, I'm gonna have to redraw it. All right, so this one is 758 106. 758. Okay, we got another one over here. Can you tell me your name? What's your name? Sandra? Tanira? Okay, Tanira just won a book. So again, if anybody wants to purchase the book, you can meet me right back here at my table. Thank you all for your attention, and thank you all for hearing my story, right? Like, I'm not sure what you got out of it. I don't know what you heard that was significant, but I trust that whatever it is that God wanted to communicate to you, that it was communicated. So thank you for letting me share, and let's enjoy the rest of this event.
Yes, see you, girl.